Let's get after it. Tonight, we're diving into a story that will be talked about for years to come. A story that marks the end of an era and the beginning of something entirely new. Amazon, the so-called everything store, is packing up and leaving America. This isn't just a company moving its headquarters or shifting a few jobs overseas. This is a seismic shift, a move that will ripple through every corner of our economy and touch millions of lives. What we're witnessing isn't just a business headline, it's a pivotal moment, a warning about what happens when political decisions collide with global business realities. The fallout will be felt in our neighborhoods, our job markets, and our wallets. Amazon, once a symbol of American innovation and dominance, has decided that the US is no longer a viable home for its core operations. The reasons are complex, but the message is simple. Even the mightiest can be pushed to the brink. Years of escalating conflict between global corporations and nationalist policies, especially the relentless rise of tariffs and trade barriers, have forced Amazon's hand. The company is responding to a world where doing business in America has become too costly, too unpredictable. The consequences are massive. Jobs will vanish, communities will be shaken, and the global business landscape will be forever altered. The message is clear: even giants can walk away when the ground beneath them shifts. How did we reach this breaking point? What does Amazon's departure mean for everyday Americans, for workers, for consumers, and for the future of business in this country? To understand this unprecedented corporate exodus, we need to break down the policies, the economic impacts, and the chain of events that led us here. It's a story of missed opportunities, political missteps, and a changing world order. The story of Amazon's flight is more than just a business decision. It's a story of a promise broken, a nation at a crossroads, and a future that now hangs in the balance. The question is, what happens next? All right, let's break this down. Tariffs and trade wars might sound complicated, but at their core, they're about one thing: money. Who pays it, and who benefits? Let's take a closer look at how this all works, and why it matters to you. A tariff is basically a tax placed on goods that are brought into the country from abroad. The main goal? To make imported products more expensive, so that American-made goods look like a better deal by comparison. It's a way for the government to try to protect local industries and jobs. The idea is simple. If foreign products cost more, companies will be encouraged to build factories and hire workers right here in the US. This is supposed to boost the economy and create more American jobs, at least in theory. But in reality, the global economy is incredibly interconnected. Most of the things we buy aren't made in just one place. They're assembled from parts and materials sourced from all over the world. Even products labeled "Made in America" often rely on foreign components. Take Amazon, for example. Their entire business model depends on a vast, efficient global supply chain. This allows them to offer customers an endless selection of products at low prices, delivered quickly to your door. When tariffs are imposed, they don't just affect a single product or company. Instead, they send shockwaves through the entire supply chain, causing delays, confusion, and higher costs for businesses big and small. For example, the Trump administration's sweeping tariffs on Chinese goods instantly made thousands of everyday products more expensive. From electronics to clothing, prices jumped almost overnight. Here's the key point: it's not the foreign manufacturers who pay these tariffs. It's the American companies that import the goods who get stuck with the bill. They have to pay the extra tax at the border. And those companies, they usually pass those extra costs right along to you, the consumer. That means higher prices at the store, bigger bills online, and less money in your pocket. So, while tariffs are meant to protect American jobs, in the end, they almost always end up acting as a hidden tax on Americans themselves. It's a price we all pay, whether we realize it or not. For Amazon, tariffs were a nightmare. Most items sold on Amazon are made overseas, especially in China. Tariffs inflated costs for Amazon and its millions of third-party sellers, forcing prices up and sales down. The promise of low prices and fast Prime delivery was undermined. Even Amazon's own devices, Echo, Kindle, Ring, became more expensive to produce. Unpredictable policy changes made planning impossible, throwing supply chains into chaos. The result, a hostile environment for any company relying on global trade. For Amazon, tariffs were a slow-acting poison. The company's entire ecosystem began to unravel. Amazon didn't just accept this fate. Faced with mounting challenges, the company's leadership knew they had to act decisively. The stakes were higher than ever, and the pressure was on to find a way forward that would protect their business and their customers. They tried to adapt, absorbing costs, raising prices, lobbying lawmakers for relief, and even shifting supply chains to minimize disruptions. Every possible lever was pulled, from negotiating with suppliers to rethinking logistics, all in an effort to keep the wheels turning. But the US market became too expensive and unpredictable. Soaring inflation, regulatory hurdles, and labor shortages made it nearly impossible to maintain profitability. The environment was simply too volatile for even a giant like Amazon to weather. Behind the scenes, Amazon quietly built massive operations in Canada and Mexico, preparing for a radical shift that would change the face of North American e-commerce. These new hubs were designed to handle the scale and complexity of Amazon's business, but outside the US borders. The bombshell: Amazon would wind down US fulfillment centers and move its North American hub to Canada. This wasn't just a cost-cutting measure, it was a complete reimagining of how Amazon would serve its largest market. US customers would still get packages, but now as international deliveries bypassing US tariffs and regulations. The logistics would be more complex, but the potential savings were enormous. It's a bold move. Serve Americans from abroad, betting that cost savings and operational efficiencies will outweigh the new complexities of cross-border shipping and customs. Amazon isn't abandoning its customers, but it's abandoning its American footprint. The company is betting that loyalty and convenience will keep shoppers coming back, even as the business model changes. This is a strategic retreat on a scale we've never seen before in the corporate world. The ripple effects will be felt across industries, communities, and the global economy. A corporate giant is fleeing the very country that made it a powerhouse, rewriting the rules of business in the process. The world is watching to see what happens next. The fallout is massive. Amazon was one of America's largest employers. Now, those jobs are gone. Entire towns that depended on Amazon warehouses face an uncertain future. For customers, expect longer delivery times, new fees, and the end of cheap, fast prime shipping. Small businesses relying on Amazon's US infrastructure are thrown into chaos, forced to ship inventory abroad. Local economies lose tax revenue, jobs, and the ripple effect hits trucking, construction, and more. The economic hole left by Amazon's departure will be immense. In a globalized world, if you make business too hard, companies can and will leave. The lesson: capital is mobile, and policy has consequences. The original goal of tariffs was to protect American jobs and industries. The hope: make imports costly, bring manufacturing back, and rebuild the economy. But the policy misjudged the complexity of global supply chains and the realities of modern business. Amazon doesn't make most of what it sells. It's a logistics platform, not a factory. Tariffs punished the American platform, not foreign competitors. The big miscalculation companies had a third option: leave. Instead of bringing jobs home, tariffs drove Amazon away, triggering economic damage. The policy meant to make America stronger ended up pushing a titan out. Why couldn't Amazon make it work in America? Its business model depends on global sourcing and seamless logistics. Tariffs broke that system. The real issue wasn't just cost, but unpredictability. How do you invest billions when policy can change overnight? Amazon needed stability, and the US no longer offered it. Forced to choose between its customers and US policy, Amazon chose its business model. By moving its hub abroad, it can keep prices low and operations stable. This is a stark lesson. Global corporations answer to their business model, not national borders. When policy becomes an existential threat, they'll protect themselves. Amazon's flight shows the limits of national policy in a globalized world. What now? Amazon's exit marks the end of an era. America is no longer the default center of the digital world. Other countries will now court global giants, offering stability and free trade. E-commerce may become decentralized, with no single country as the hub. For American workers, the loss is immediate and deep. Hundreds of thousands of jobs gone. The promise of tariffs bringing back manufacturing seems unlikely to fill the gap. For consumers, online shopping will be slower, pricier, and less reliable. The age of instant gratification is over. The game has changed. Amazon's flight is a watershed moment. The world we knew is gone, and the future is uncertain.